is it a good idea to send local attorneys in other practice areas other than what you practice letters asking for referrals? Um, I mean, okay, so it depends on the letter, right? If you're going to do this, and it might not necessarily be a bad idea, but there's a way that you have to do this. First of all, you have to think about this. If the roles were reversed, if somebody came to you that you didn't know and said, hey, I'm attorney, blah, 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 and I handle Social Security disability cases, or I handle personal injury cases, and I handle whatever, and I see that you handle I see that you handle criminal defense. So if you have any referrals, will you please send them my way? What would your reaction be to that? I mean, because to me, I would be like, well, what's in it for me? Like, why am I gonna, why, so that's the biggest hurdle you're gonna have to get over is that, first of all, they don't know you, because if they knew you and they thought that you did a great job, they would just refer you anyway. So you've got to answer that what's in it for me question, and you've also got to make them feel confident in the referral. And it's kind of hard with just a letter, to be honest with you. I mean, so the first challenge is going to be to get them to open it. If you're just going to send a letter, I wouldn't send a letter. I would send a lumpy package. And basically what that is you take an envelope, like a padded envelope, and you put something in it that makes it lumpy. They're curious about, what the hell is this? I mean, it could be a stress ball. It could be a lot of, there's so many different things you put in there, but put something in there, some sort of promotional product almost, that will get them to open it, right? And then you've got to make a pretty compelling case for why they should hire you. And this should not be about your credentials. It should be about what is in it for them. It should be, if you hire me, if you refer cases to me, I'm a personal injury attorney, and here's our track record, but you're going to look like a rock star to the person that you referred it to, because because at the end of the day, the one thing that they're worried about, or one of the many things they're worried about, is that they're going to refer them to you, they're going to refer clients to you, and you're going to suck as an attorney. And then what's going to happen, and I'm worried about this too, I don't refer lawyers to other SEO companies, because I don't want the lawyer to come back to me and be like, oh, that company you sent me sucked. I just don't want to do it. Because we don't work with our competitors. I'm sorry, we don't work with the competition of our clients. So I don't do referrals, but like, for me, I would need some sort of guarantee, first of all, that I'm not going to look bad. That's probably first and foremost. I mean, I care less about a referral fee, and I think a lot of attorneys, maybe not all of them, but I think there's a lot of attorneys that care much less about the referral fee than the damage that could happen to their reputation if they refer somebody to you and you just completely drop the ball. I don't know how you get over that. I'm sure there's a way to do it. You've just got to be creative and test it out. But yeah, that's the hurdle that I would see in terms of that. I mean, I don't know. I think that, again, you could create content and advertise to lawyers in your area. And if you solve problems that they have, like, for example, if you're an estate planning attorney, you would do very well to advertise to divorce attorneys about your services. And I wouldn't just say, hey, divorce attorneys, here I am, you can refer your estate planning issues to me. But what I would do is I would create a piece of content that's like 5 estate planning issues that divorce attorneys miss 9 out of 10 times, and just create content on that. And then it's the same thing. I mean, you're marketing to lawyers instead of clients, but you're still marketing, and lawyers at the end of the day are still people, so you can use the same strategies. Think about what problems do they have, and what are the solutions that you can offer. And that's the way to do it. That's, it's the best way.